For me, it was quality education at an affordable price. That's the
Wow.
sentence. That was so why Sapienza, why it is quality education at affordable price. Because I think the Italians are like, don't brag, but
Mm-hmm.
only if they know, like if they compare, I think they know, they don't just give a damn
Yeah.
about bragging or something.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the UK government, like the UK economy system, and I think because of the English language, it makes it look like UK is where you need to be. It's like is
Yeah.
that's if you are not there, like it's like you're missing out in all of Europe. Like if you're going to
Yeah.
Europe, it's UK you should be considering. But
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with that. Having experienced Italy, I feel like it's just that maybe because of the language barrier, it doesn't put
Mm-hmm.
like Italy in a better position.
If you run with me, I gotta work for the both of us.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Okay, today we have a guest here. We have a new face, and she's going to introduce herself, and she's going to tell us about her experience studying in Italy and how she actually paid 186 euros for a master's. She's going to tell us the entire process, but then tell us, let her introduce herself so that we get right into the conversation.
Thank you, Anita, for having me on your channel. It's a pleasure. I'm always happy to talk about this story because I feel like it's something most people don't know about, and we need to get the
Exactly.
news out there.
Exactly.
Yeah. But hi everyone again. My name is Yeti, and I studied at Italy for about 3 years. I did my master's degree at Sapienza University of Rome in Italy. Yeah, that's like you know a brief intro about my life in Italy. And afterwards, after some time, I moved to the UK, and now I currently work in the UK. But yeah, that's it.
So tell us, where are you from, like originally?
I'm from Nigeria. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you guys don't know is Yeti is, an artificial intelligence and robotics geek. Okay. And today she's actually going to tell us how she, ended up going to study in Rome, how she was able to enter into, you all know about Sapienza University and how we all love the place, we love Rome. you know. Yeah, but then she's
Yeah.
basically really tell us the entire experience. But then I'd like to know before you even came for your masters initially, what were you doing? Like,
Yeah. So I was a software developer at that time because I had my bachelor's in computer science. So I was
Mhm.
into like programming at that point. In Nigeria, I was working in Nigeria. Yeah. So
Okay.
I just once I decided in 2018, I just decided that I wanted to push my career forward, and I felt like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let me just go for a master's degree. But yeah, I was working as a software developer in Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay, that's
Yes.
good. That's good.
Thank
That's at
you.
2018. Like that's so cool because I'm sure like way back then a number of people were not really into
Into
that.
tech. Yeah,
Into
right.
tech.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
that's so impressive.
right.
And
Thank you.
guys, listen, there's so much to Yeti. Like, there's so much she's going to share with us. There's so much to her that she's going to share with us in today's session. But then, why Sapienza? Why did you choose Sapienza? Why did you choose Italy? Like, wow.
Hey, very good question. Money. Money. I always crack this joke that it's people that have money that go to the UK. So when people saw that I went to Italy, they thought that I actually like they didn't know that so you're that rich and things like that. But I actually got admission in UK. But when I looked at the school fees, I said there's no way I can afford I can afford this. So my number one reason, or let me say two in one reason why Sapienza was quality education. It's a very good people think now that I'm in the UK system and I've when I came to the UK, I was an exchange student from Italy. So I did like my last 3 months of my study here in the UK. So that's actually how I came to the UK. I was exposed because I did like research assistant in the university that I came to, and I was
Mm.
exposed to their curriculum and what they teach. And the thing that they call advanced robotics as their own curriculum was my own introduction to robotics at Sapienza.
Wow.
Yes, yes. So for me, it was quality education at an affordable price. That's the
Wow.
sentence. That was so why Sapienza, why it is quality education at affordable price. Because I think the Italians are like, don't brag, but
Mm-hmm.
only if they know, like if they compare. I think they know, they don't just give a damn
Yeah.
about bragging or something.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the UK government, like the UK economy system, and I think because of the English language, it makes it look like, UK is where you need to be. It's like is
Yeah.
that's if you are not there, like it's like you're missing out in all of Europe. Like if you're going to
Yeah.
Europe, it's UK you should be considering. But
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with that. Having experienced Italy, I feel like it's just that maybe because of the language barrier, it doesn't put
Mm-hmm.
like Italy in a better position. But if we actually switch it, and Italy, like maybe there's like English language is what is being spoken in Italy, UK will be nowhere to be. Like I don't think they can actually stand in terms of like quality and standard education, especially when you think of the fact that it's cheap, like almost free in Italy. So I think that's my why in a summary. I've said more than summary, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so to you, it's quality education because some people actually think when you we talk to them about it, they're like, oh wow, like easily for
Hmm.
quality education, like so many people don't actually know about it, which is actually true.
You don't when I said I spent 3 years, it was not because my master's is 3 years. Like the master's itself is 2 years, 3 months. How can you compare someone who did a master's 2 years, 3 months to someone who did a master's for 1 year?
1 year in the UK.
How can you so my 1 year, am I playing? Do you understand? Am I playing? Like that is how rigorous they can never, there's no way they can actually make that master's 1 year because of the things that you'll be taught in
Wow,
that 2 years. They cannot squeeze it to 1 year. It's not possible.
it's
So
not
you cannot
possible.
compare me that spent 2 years, 3 months on a particular subject. There's no how that curriculum could have been, and you want to compare it to someone who did 1 year. That's what I think, and I stand by it, to be honest. Yeah.
Thank you for actually sharing your truth because anyone, if you're, at this point you've gotten admission, like maybe in the UK, because usually when students are applying, they don't just apply to one university, they try a number of them. So if you are, struggling to decide, should I go to the UK? Should I come to Italy for prospective
Yeah.
students? You heard what Yeti said. Mm, you heard what she said. For quality
Yeah,
education, choose Italian universities. Like
absolutely. Yeah.
that's bang. Because yeah, I
Yeah.
always used to wonder why for the Italian universities they have 2 years for masters and then in the UK it's just 1 year.
It's not
It's
the
not the same.
same. I've been in the education system here. I mean, I spent
Mhm.
1 year at
Okay.
university here in the UK,
Hmm.
and nah, you cannot compare someone who graduated. Like it's not mouth, but we are not on the same level per se. We are not. It's very
Mm.
different. Yeah, I know it's a shocking truth, but
It's
it's the
shocking.
truth.
It's shocking. It's a shocking truth.
Yeah.
It's a shocking truth because especially for we the English speakers, like UK is our go-to. Like for everything. The UK is our go-to. So it's just shocking
Yeah.
that to know that wow, if you want quality education, you have to look towards Italy. You just have to
Yeah.
deal with the language barrier, which we are going
Mm-hmm.
to talk more about in the
Yeah.
video. So
Yeah.
we need to talk about in the video,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then, yeah, tell us about the process, because I'm sure before you decided on um, coming to study in Rome, you had to do a number of things. But how did you come about with choosing Rome? Did you first of all apply to other universities as well?
Yeah, I applied to not just, I was just like I just sprayed my applications like Italy, Finland, Norway, Germany, UK, US. I was just spraying them everywhere. And then, when the admissions came, I had to now choose. So I had from UK, I had from Italy, I think one from Finland as well. I can't remember, but I think I had like three different admissions when they came after and I mean, when I say three, this was out of like, because someone messaged me on Instagram. I was like, oh, I have applied, and I was like, yeah, during my time too. It was not like I just went to Sapienza, I applied, and that was it. I applied. My applications would reach 100, to be honest with you,
Wow.
across different universities, across different countries. So you just have to keep doing it, like applying, because I mean it's the same motivation letter that you are most likely going. So it doesn't really take anything, and it's free. Some university that has to pay, I don't apply there. Like if I say that you have to pay for that, I don't. It's free application that I was looking for, and I was applying to as many. So when the options came, I just looked at cost was my major this thing. So once I
Okay.
knew that UK was not really an option for me because it was expensive for me to afford that. Then I looked at, okay, Italy. Okay, if I'm even choosing this university, I checked the ranking. So I just googled like the ranking of universities in Italy,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw that
Mm-hmm.
Sapienza was like top 10 or something. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, like it means that this is good. And even the university that gave me admission here in the UK, it was not among the top 10. So I knew that like among the top 10 in the UK, but this other one was top 10
In
in
Italy.
Italy, in
Mm-hmm.
Italy. So I just, and then I just looked at the professors, where they are, what they do, and the reach that they've really got into. And like I said, I think Italians don't just brag, but
Mm-hmm.
like I remember when I came here, the one of the professor, when he discovered that one of the people that taught me was a particular professor in robotics that had like many textbooks that they even use in like Stanford, Harvard. He was like, "Oh, they look at taught you." I was like, "Yeah, he taught me robotics one, robotics two." Yeah, like I listed the courses, and he was like, he was really impressed. Like, oh, so you were
Oh.
actually taught under this professor. Sure, you get. So it gave me like that edge with him because they
Mm-hmm.
respect that professor in his field, and they just were
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, if he had taught you, then you know your onions, that kind of thing. So yeah, that was, and then I just decided to go. Yeah.
To go. So
Yeah.
you had from the UK, Finland, and then Italy, and then you decided to go with Rome and come
Yeah.
and study in Sapienza University. That's good. Would you like to share like how it was like with the getting your documentation,
Mm,
legalizing? Because I know you just shared with us that
yeah.
you are from Nigeria. So tell us like for the Nigerian
Yes.
audience to know how the process is, like was
What
like
was like,
for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll start from the admission. So when I applied, after I applied, my own department, I don't from what I've now learned with my friends, my other friends from other departments, I learned that it's not all departments that do interview for you. But for my own department, they conducted like a Skype interview. They said, oh, I've been invited to interview with the professor, blah blah blah. And they were not far-fetched. The questions were just based on my bachelor's,
Mhm,
like what I've learned before, and my current, because I claim that, oh, I'm a software developer. So they asked me some things in software development just to be sure that
mhm.
I'm true to what I've put in my
In your
CV and my
CV. Yeah.
application. Yes.
Mhm,
So that was it. It was like 15 minutes interview. And then, the guy said, oh, see you in Rome, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, it didn't even reach up to a week or something. I got my offer letter. So when they give you the offer letter, they call it pre-acceptance letter.
mhm,
So it means that you have been accepted, but on conditions that you have to
mhm,
provide the right documentation before you
mhm,
are finally offered like final admission.
mhm,
So the pre-acceptance letter, they said, oh, I need to go to the Italian embassy to do what they call my legalization.
mhm,
So the legalization is like a very long process,
mhm.
but it's not far-fetched. Like it's not something, if you are patient, when people hear about the process, it overwhelms them. Like it's like, but maybe because me, I've already applied to like 100 schools, and I knew that I didn't have many choice,
Choices.
so I
Mm,
just had to do it. Like it was
mm,
very tiring, to be honest, but now I get to reap the benefit of me not giving up, right?
mhm,
So I decided this thing is long, but I'm still going to do it. So the legalization process is basically a way to ascertain, because when you get to, I'll say the why so that it really when I'm not explaining it, it makes sense why those processes have to be done. So if you think of a country like UK that have like a better affiliation with Nigeria, for instance, or
Mhm.
maybe like with Ghana because they are Commonwealth countries, it's easy to easily validate like a document or a
Mhm.
certificate or something because of the affiliation that they have. I mean, they can easily reach out to the Nigerian government to ask and request things and all. Not like Italy doesn't have that relationship, but
Mhm.
because even our document is not even in English to start with.
Mhm.
Do you get? And
Is
it's not in
it
Italian to
Italian?
start with. So
Mhm.
how can they interpret? You know, your they don't. Those people don't. You cannot go and give them your English certificate and expect them to understand. They can't understand the
Mhm.
certificate. They can't really ascertain that, oh, this certificate is G get. So that's why
Yeah.
that legalization has to take place in Nigeria. If
Mhm.
you have admission in UK, they don't expect you to do it because they have a way that they can when you bring it here, they have their way of like certifying that yes, this certificates, they are not fake, they are actually original because of that Commonwealth relationship that exists. So the legalization is just a way to ascertain from Nigeria that what you are taking to Italy is actually the right documents. Because once you've done all of those processes, by the time we get to Italy, they are not screening our document again. It's
Mm.
just when once they see that their embassy from Nigeria have already put their stamp and everything, all we just did was to submit. In fact,
Mhm.
by the time I graduated, they returned all my documents. It was even actually even fun when we went to collect our certificate. So all those documents we even give them at the beginning, they gave us back because
Wow.
they don't need it anymore. Yeah, they
Mhm.
gave us all those documents. They were even photocopies, but they gave us back. So that's why that legalization have to be done. And how do you start? The first process is you want to transcribe all your if you are going for masters, your bachelor's degree, your NECO or
Mhm.
WAEC. WAEC is common to us in I
Mhm.
mean for people that are like Ghanaians, for instance. But for
Yeah.
people that are not from West Africa, WAEC just means West
The
Africa
wasi.
Examination Council. So it's the exam we do after our high school in West Africa. And it's part of the document you use to enter a university for undergraduates. So if you have
Mhm.
something like that in your country, that's I'm just trying to explain for non West
Yeah, it's
African audience.
true.
So
Audience.
if you are from Kenya or North Africa or wherever you are in any part of the world, you just need that,
This
certificate that shows
certificate.
that you are done with
Mhm.
high school, basically.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, if you're going for a master's degree, you need your bachelor's certificate, your transcripts, your bachelor's transcripts, and then WAEC certificate. You also need like your birth certificate as
Certificate.
well.
Mhm.
Yes, so those were like the documents that you had to take with you, your birth certificate as well. If you are doing bachelor's, of course, you only need your WAEC and birth certificate.
Certificate.
You don't need that. So you gather those documents, the original, you make photocopies, and you find an Italian
Yeah, and the
certified.
transcripts as well. You forgot the
Yeah,
transcripts.
yeah, the transcript as well. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so you gather them and you make photocopies, and then you take it to a translator to try
Mhm.
because it's in English, right? Or whatever
Yeah.
language your country is. But I think most is either French or because I know some African countries is French. So they
Yeah.
translate it from that language to Italian language.
Mhm.
Now, you don't just take it to anybody. How I found who I used was on our own Italian website, Italian embassy website in
Mhm.
Nigeria. They've
Okay.
put a list, so they would, I think that's something that they would have done across all countries. They put a list of their certified Italian translators. So
Mhm.
you just want to find like one that is closer to you
So
and then
you. Mhm.
take those documents there. So while they are there, because they may take some time, while they
Mhm.
are there, you will not pick for Nigeria like we had to because we are very wonderful people who come up with certificates that are fake. So for us, I don't think that may be required in Ghana or some other African countries. But for us, the Italian government said we must take those documents to Ministry of Education in Abuja, which is our federal capital of like
Mhm.
capital of Nigeria.
Mhm.
So you have to take those documents to Ministry of Foreign Affairs,
Mhm.
Ministry of Education. each of
Mm-hmm.
those documents, the original. You also make photocopies because they'll put
Yeah.
stamp on the original and then the
Mm-hmm.
photocopy. If you've laminated, so I had an issue of laminating my certificate. You know when you laminate, you want to put
Mm-hmm.
that thing is a problem. So you have to careful if you've laminated it. That's why they say don't laminate
Don't
because
laminate. Yeah.
yeah, don't laminate.
Mm-hmm.
Like I learned from that thing. Never to. I thank God that it's just one certificate that my bachelor's. That was the only one but the others were not laminated. So I had
No.
to open it small so that the stamp can drop on it because they cannot put stamp on that nylon. You take those documents, you take it to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Education. That
Mm-hmm.
was in Nigeria, but
Yeah.
in Ghana, I don't think
Yeah, we do same.
you do. Wow,
Yeah, because yeah, anything
our
can be,
brothers and sisters.
anything, the sex can
Oh
be,
my
can,
God. Yes. So we took it there and we paid some amount of money. I don't want to say the price. Like I don't remember
mm,
how much I paid,
yeah.
but this is 2018. There's already
Mhm.
affiliation. Things have changed, so I
Mm,
cannot say. But as at then, so to give an idea,
mhm.
per page of the documents, it
Okay.
was around 10,000 naira. I don't know how much that is in Ghana cedis,
Mm, mm,
but it's 10,000 naira. Everybody know dollars. It's like $13 per page.
okay.
Yeah,
Then.
so that's
Mm,
yes, $13 per page. So it means that if your transcript is like 2 pages, they don't take it as transcript, one document, that's it. It's per page that they look at your document. So if you have a
yes.
document that is like 3 pages, they'll charge you for each page.
Each
So they
page.
put their stamp on each
Mm-hmm.
of this thing. They will
Mm-hmm.
also give you like receipt. So when they give you the receipt, keep it because the Italian government felt at some point people started we are very good people. People
Mm-hmm.
started doing fake stamps.
Oh.
Nigeria, we are very wonderful. People started doing creating their own fake stamps. So because of that, the Italian government started asking for the receipt that they give you at the electronic receipt they give you at those Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Education.
Wow.
Even that one, maybe that one to do. Go and, as at that time, probably our people have not found a way to create fake fake receipts, but they were asking us for those receipts. So they will
Document
stamp,
receipt as well.
yeah, they will stamp the original and they will stamp the photocopy.
Mm-hmm.
So once you've done that, you are like almost done, to be honest.
Mm,
Like you are done with the process. So
mm-hmm.
now what you will now do is at that so that process, that's why I said go to the mistake me I made was going to the foreign affairs, doing all those process why I had not taken my photocopy of my document to the translators. By the time I
Okay.
went to the translator, many people are because many people are of course going, there are very few of them, so they have plenty work. In fact, the
Mm,
lady, God just helped me with her because the secretary of the woman that does the translation, she just liked me and she kind of just puts my own on top. Before she was saying it was going to take 2 months.
wow.
Yeah, so immediately you get your admission, photocopy your document and go and start that process first. Like just go and be doing that one, then go and be doing
Mm,
then you can now start because all of them will take time. So try and do things simultaneously to save yourself time. I didn't know that one, Sha, at my own. So I even got to school like 2 weeks after lecture had started because of this.
wow.
Yeah. So it's
Hmm.
good. That's why I mentioned it in that order.
Yeah,
So by the
that
time
order.
you are like done with your Ministry of Affairs, blah blah blah, you've stamped your documents. You don't need to take your date of birth. They don't need to. I said date of birth certificate,
Your birth
birth
certificate
certificate. You don't need to take it to Foreign Affairs, and you don't need to take it to Education, but you take it to Foreign Affairs.
for the first.
Education is only interested in your
The certificate.
education certificate. Do
Certificate,
you
yes.
understand? Doesn't make
Mhm.
sense. So that's how it works. So when you are done, you can then go and collect the translated documents, and you now go to the Italian government for that
The
legalization.
legalization.
Yeah, so they call it pre-enrollment and
Mm-hmm.
legalization. So
Okay.
it's just them now saying, "Oh, we've seen this document. The
Mm-hmm.
person has translated it. The
Mm-hmm.
person has gone to their government to certify and all that." They will now give you. So when you do pre-enrollment and legalization, I paid about 10,000 naira as well for all the whole legalization, which is like $13 and all that. But it's not per documents, it's just for
It's
every,
for
that was
everything.
2018. Yes.
Okay.
So after that they give you what they now call declaration of value.
Okay.
Yeah, DO, we call it DOV. So
Though.
declaration of values, an A4 paper from that Italian, that they'll just say, oh, so 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 person, we was born on so 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 date. And it's because they've seen those things on your document and they know
Documents.
that it's original because you've
Mm-hmm.
certified it from your government. So
Yes.
say, oh, so 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 person was born on so 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 thing. We certify or ascertain that they went to so 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 school, secondary school. They did their WAEC with the following result. They also
Mm-hmm.
did their master's degree at so 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 school with the following result. And so it's like, oh yeah, it's just summarizing your life, sha, something like that.
Yeah.
In a document and saying, yes, this is who you are. Like it's not like introducing you
Mm.
to your school, so that when you
Mm.
get there, once they see that document, their government have done the necessary, the
Yeah.
embassy in your country have done everything
Done
for them. So once you give them, the thing does not take more than 5 minutes, you are enrolled already. So
already.
you take those documents and then that's what you now take to Italy. And when you want to apply for the visa, you need to have done those things as well. You cannot just
Also,
say, I'll apply for visa, I'll not do. The process is go through that process, do all the
process
documents.
step
After
by
I
step.
get your DOV, apply for the visa. And then when you apply for the visa, then you can now, go to Italy. So once you get to Italy, it's those same document that you've translated, the photocopy and the DOV that you're going to give your school. That's
No, that's
that. That's
that's that's
it. That's it. So
oh, thank
yeah,
you for sharing that with us. You know, that it seems like a tedious process, but then you need to do that to be able to, you need to follow the step by step
the
process
step.
to be able
Yeah.
to ensure that you get everything in, like, in everything right. And then if you
Yeah.
don't start early, you see, usually students are advised to kind of like start early, because when you don't start early, at the end of the day, you end up like, yeah, being
Yes.
late. Just like you said, you come while the academic the
Yes.
semester has already started and
Started.
all of
Yes.
them. So how was the experience like while you were booking for, you went to the Italian embassy for the visa? How was it like? How was the interview like? How was the whole process
Mm.
like?
Yeah, so it was we don't do physical interviews. So you
Mm-hmm.
just need to submit your documents and that's
Mm-hmm.
it. So I went through VFS, which is quite popular.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So you could apply through the Italian embassy if you want, but the to get appointments during that time, I'm sure it's still the same with the
Mm.
Italian government is very tedious. So
Very,
once I
very.
got that DOV and everything, I didn't want to have anything to do with them again. I just went to VFS because those ones
BFS,
are a
yeah.
business and
It's
you just appear there and then you apply
it's
and you
easier,
submit. It's
yeah.
easier with VFS, you
Yeah,
understand?
think so
Although
too.
VFS charge, so that's the difference.
Exactly.
Italian government, their own is lesser, but VFS will charge you more because they are
Mm-hmm.
a business. But I just decided to go with them because the wahala of the trouble of
Tranquila,
getting, yeah,
tranquila.
it was too much. So I just
Too
went through
much.
VFS to do it. Then I just remember that they did not give me my DOV until
Mhm.
after visa. During our
Oh.
time, during
Mm-hmm.
our time, they said, "Oh, you don't need the DOV for the visa." So what they
Mm-hmm.
just did was like legalize my documents and all of
Mm-hmm.
that, and they were like, "Go for your visa application. When if you get it, then come for the." And I think the reason why they were doing because they had many people,
Mm-hmm.
and doing DOV too was time consuming for them. So
For
they were
them.
just doing legalization for people and say it's only people that we give admission. After we give you
Mm.
admission, we will not give you your DOV because
DOV, okay.
you understand.
Mm.
So yeah, for me, that time, they didn't give me DOV. They were like, we should go for a visa application. If we get it, we can come back to them. So once I
Mm.
got my visa application, I just wrote to them and told them that, oh, I've gotten the application. And when I got, I just had to show them
Show them.
the visa, and then they just did because they do it on spot for you. So they did it on
Yeah.
spot, and then that
Wow.
was it. Yeah, and in fact, even that deal, you may send somebody to collect it for you. Because I remember that After I got my visa, because I was already late, I was already trying to prepare. I booked my flight, and they were not giving me appointment for that DOV on time. So at
Mm.
some point, they told me that if they don't get back to me before I need to go to school, like go to Italy, I can send my dad or anybody that bears my surname to
Mm.
come for the DOV. But fortunately, they were able to give me a date before I traveled. Like I think it was even a week before I traveled, and then they gave
No.
me. So you don't have to be the one to collect the DOV. So somebody can collect. So far, you have snapped that your visa page and all the document, the details they need. The person can just take it to them, and they will give them the DOV, and the person will scan it to you or
It's
send it
kind of
to you.
thing.
Yeah, because I even
Mm.
helped someone to bring their own DOV to, like,
Um,
I
for
collected it,
some, for
yeah, and,
someone.
and brought it for her. Yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for sharing that experience. But then, a number of students actually get confused. They are wondering whether legalization is the same as, the DOV. It's very very confusing.
Confusing.
But
Yes. Maybe
are
I
they the
can
same?
explain. They are
No,
not the same.
they are not the
They are not
same.
the same. So legalization is the process where they are legalizing your documents that you have taken to the um Ministry of Foreign
Foreign
Affairs. Do you get what
affairs
I mean?
and education.
Yes. The legalization is why they can give you DOV, because DOV is
Mhm.
declaration of your value, and your value
Yeah,
is based on your documents that they have legalized. Like,
analyzing.
yeah, so that's
Mm.
the difference. And it was even good I now mentioned that I didn't get my DOV until after.
Until
Yeah,
yeah,
because they are different. It's not
very very
DOV
different.
that will give you they
DOV and legalization is they are
yeah,
different
yeah,
things.
no, yeah, but you need to legalize, because your legalization is saying my document that I'm submitting with this visa application is actually original and all of
Original,
this thing.
real,
It is
authentic.
legalization is more like for the Italian embassy in your
Mm-hmm.
country,
In your
while
country.
DOV is the documents that they need in when you
Yeah.
get to
That's
Italy. So they
Italy.
are different. Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that.